Good evening! Welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Josh. I am Jason's younger brother. And I first want to start off by apologizing. We talked about earlier with the planes, we were going to phone in a bomb threat so that there would be no planes earlier. And yet the planes flew over. So I apologize, that's my fault. Kirk wouldn't give me his phone, so... I really just want to start off and say what an honor it is to be chosen as the best man. Jason had quite a few fine gentlemen up here to be the best man, but he chose the best man to be able to present tonight. So I'm very honored to be Jason's younger brother. Now, when it comes to thinking about giving a speech for your older brother, who you are also the best man, it's hard, right? Because it's not like I don't know him from anywhere. I have to see everyone again, I have to give those speeches again, so I can't say anything that's like, ooh, like that was pretty bad. Like he can't come to Christmas or birthdays or anything else. So it's like, at first I was like, do I roast him? And my mom right away was like, no, you can't roast him. You can't do anything like that. You can't say anything. Because God knows, like, he's my older brother. I have so many stories on him, and can go on and like talk about it. But sorry, Mom. Some of these stories might come up tonight. I'm gonna try and keep it sweet, short and sweet. But you know, at least you know that I apologize to you. And then also, it's like, do I be heartfelt? Well, most of these people here, and a lot of you know, like, I'm not a very heartfelt guy. I'm very like jovial, I joke, I don't really say a lot, like I'm just kind of like out there. Especially if you ask my ex-girlfriends, they're like, whoa, like you would not give a heartfelt speech. So I'm gonna try and squeeze some of that in there just to keep everyone happy and maybe shed a few tears, because my mom, it won't be hard for me to be able to share a few tears tonight, so we'll see what happens. And lastly, it's like, do I talk about Jason's achievements? You know, there's a few that I could talk about, and at the end of it, it's like, well, I talk about his achievements, I sit down, I say I love you, we all dance, and it's just over in like 30 seconds. So it's just like one of those things. But all serious aside, or all joking aside here, Jason has done a lot in his life, and I really want to paint a picture for you guys. It's going to be short and sweet to let you know, like, my older brother has been a very big part of me, and a big part of that has always been Megan, because we have grown up together, all of us, and it's so proud for me now to show like how much they mean to me. So Jason and I have been very, very close growing up. He's only 2.5 years older than me. We've lived together most of our lives when Jason lived with my dad, and through video games, as Jason said the other night, heck, video chat and everything now, you can talk to someone every night, which is also really nice to keep in touch with. But going back as far as I can remember, Megan has been there. Whether it was my high school graduation, college graduation, birthdays, Christmas, everything, she has been there. Not only has she been there, she's been giving. She's been giving gifts. She talks to her family. She talks to everyone about, like, and says how much she loves her. And she's always been a big part of our family, regardless of being married or not. So I'm so proud now to say that she's also, like, officially part of our family. And after 8 years, how many years? After 2, who cares anymore? 8 years, 2 years, it's just like, oh, I don't know. But it's easier for me to say, I don't know, I'm not one of those. But most of these guys are here. Some of them are, this one, not so much. But like, after 8 years, it's like, damn, it's time to get married, right? Like, please, tie the knot. And it's not like Megan hasn't been saying, like, it's time to get this I really want to go back and talk about a lot about our childhood. Like I said, 2.5 years apart, it's very, very close. And those of you that know Jason, maybe some of you don't, he is very, very competitive, which is great. So am I. I think it comes from both our parents are competitive in business and whatnot. But that aside, Jason is probably the biggest ego that you know across anyone. Doesn't matter what it is. You talk to Jason right now, he can go on that golf course and drive 350 yards. Doesn't matter. You do it now, drunk, sober, whatever. He'll drive 350 yards. Give him a football. We have one tonight. Sure, he challenge everyone in here. Be like, oh, 100 yards. Johnny football, Jason football. Throw it far, close, whatever. It doesn't matter. But I can guarantee you also that if you challenge him in a race, because if you haven't noticed, we look very similar. He's tall and lanky, a little short and stock here. But you know what? He's always been like, I'm going to beat your ass in a race. I'm going to be able to race you, and I'm going to race you. It won't be fun. He did track, I did football. But you know what? He will challenge anyone tonight after a few drinks. Take him outside and do a race. Because he still thinks he's the fastest man in the entire world. So take him out and do that, because It's well, except for Mickey, who is like the runner, and maybe his girlfriend because they ran miles. But other than that, Mickey's probably the only man that's been able to beat him. But one thing that's remained throughout everything is Jason's hard work and his ethic, and his dedication to what he's doing. Doesn't matter, ego aside, Jason, when he puts his mind to something, will be able to do it. That being said, school was not one of our major, and that's when we were very, very simple. So, ask my mom, or especially my dad and stepmom, we went to a parent-teacher conference, they would all say the same thing. You know what? Your kids are smart, but they don't dedicate themselves. Right? So it's not mixed up. I'm like, oh, he doesn't dedicate himself. We dedicate ourselves to things that we care about. School? Nah. Now, Chad can't hear because he still has to graduate and go to college, but other than that, we just But that being said, Jason also was a very different high school student and has worked throughout the entire time. And he worked at Kroger, which, many of you knowing, it's a very labor-intensive job. He worked a lot of long and very hard hours. Whether it was holidays, birthdays, anything, Jason would be there and would work because he knew that's what he needed to do to get through and survive and provide for the people that he loved and for himself. And he didn't question any of it. We hear some stories afterwards that are like, this day sucked, it was happy, but still, he was very, very dedicated. And after all of that, they asked him, after he graduated high school, at 18 years old, to manage that Kroger. And if any of you know that, that's a big deal. He was going to be an assistant manager. They wanted him to work full-time. They wanted to do everything. 18 years old, after all this hard work being a cashier, customer service, and everything. I'm talking about the new Kroger now in Walled Lake that's huge and everything. It was one of those things that he worked so hard. That's what they wanted him to do. Luckily, after very hard talks with not only my mom, but also my dad, they decided that there was much bigger and better things ahead of him. So luckily, he went to college, which is also, I don't want to say luckily, because growing up was one of those things that it was never, are we going to college? What are you going to do after school, after high school? Are you going to go to this or go to that? It was always, where are you going? What are you going to do to get there? How are you going to college? Where do you want to go? It was never one of those I guess I'm going to go, I'm not. And Jason was one of those, and we both were not dedicated to school, and Jason was like, I have this job, I can work full-time, I can provide for myself and do this. Where do I go to school? And after hard conversations with both my mom and my dad, I'm sure you guys remember, it was like, you need to go to school. And it was one of those moments that it was just great. And I can also let you know that Jason graduating college was the proudest moment in our entire family. Between Jim, my mom, my dad, all of our grandparents, he is the first Banfield to graduate from college. I want to round of applause. Very big. But I want to get now to one of my favorite moments of Jason's life. His work at Best Buy. Now, for those of you that know Jason, his patience level, it's okay. His anger level, through the roof. So, he was hired on as a cashier, he worked his way up to customer service, then he was a supervisor, now he's running the back end of the store, he does everything. But looking back on it, I said customer service. Literally, Jason Banfield was hired to do customer service. And those of you that know him, he has told stories, which I won't get into because it would be long in between, but he would come home from work and talk about all these customers and what they did. Somehow, some manager at Best Buy decided, you know what? Jason Banfield was so short-tempered and let's put him in customer service. Let's just do that. He can do the customers so well, he can talk to people. Let's put him there. And it's like, okay, good luck. But that being said, he works his ass off and works so hard that they promoted him out of customer service, which I think is the hardest thing to go through at Best Buy or any retail store. One thing I learned from Jason, I haven't been lucky enough to work in retail, so for those of you who have, please, round of applause, because I haven't been able to do it. From what I learned from Jason, there's two types of customers. Customers that are non-existent, or stupid customers. So the customer's always right. At Best Buy, I don't know, that might not be the best thing. So if you have stock at Best Buy, I apologize, but it might not be the best thing for people to go through. But like I said, after Jason's hard work and dedication, through all of Best Buy, he still to this day will work 6 days a week, weekends, weekdays, holidays, birthdays, anything. And he does it because he is a hard worker. And he does it because he wants to provide for someone he loves. and has always provided for someone he loves, and will continue to do that, and doesn't question every morning, waking up, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, anything. Yes, Best Buy is open those days, and someone who's managing that is this guy right here. So next time you want to go shopping on Black Friday, it's 6 a.m. He's here at 3 a.m. I go home from the bars and he's like getting dressed to go out to work. What are you doing? He's there. Because it's hard work and dedication. And it shows because some of you might think that Megan might have a corporate sponsor from Coach, but it's actually not. Her corporate sponsor from Coach is this guy right here. It doesn't matter, any day of the week, she has like a purse, handbag, whatever. And the best thing about any of that, she didn't ask for any of that. Jason does that because he loves her, and that's the sign of the affection that he has for her. And I think that is something that is very hard to pass up. And it's something that is very, very special. Now, Megan, I just really want to say that we grew up together, and I'm very, very proud of you. We're close to the same age, and I think your accomplishments cannot be shortcoming. I mean, you saved someone's life who's here tonight. Now, if we can please give a round of applause to right here at this table. I'm sorry to call you to you, but we're so blessed. We're so blessed for you two to be here tonight, and we really do appreciate it. And Megan, it was never, you didn't question it. You signed up, it was what, 3 or 6 months later, you got a call that said you might be a match, didn't question it. Went through, gave your bone marrow and saved someone's life. And I think that just, someone like that just, you can't express in words how much of a person that means to you. And seriously, I could not be prouder to welcome you to our family, because of just that's just one instance of something that makes you very, very special. Also, I'm proud to say when people are asking me, like, because my brother and I have always been close, like, oh, who's your brother marrying? I'm like, oh, Meg, what does she do? Well, she went to U of M for 4 years, graduated nursing school, and now works at U of M hospital. It's like pretty easy to be like, she's awesome. And everyone's like, wow, like, are you like your brother? Like, how did that happen? Did that like work? And I'm also proud to say that my mother has always wanted a daughter in the family. Has always wanted a daughter in the family. Most of you probably don't know this, especially this side, and I apologize for this, but I was supposed to be a Jacqueline. Now, whether it was the ultrasound or I don't know what happened, but somehow a boy popped out. And luckily for me, like, I'm here today, and I'm a guy, and I'm this man, like, I'm not even a maid of honor, like, I don't know what happened. But it's just luckily it happened for me, and I'm proud to be where I am today. So, now, moving on to Jason. I mean, I really haven't met anyone that loves someone as much as he loves you. And it has been constant in my entire life. Literally going back. I mean, it's never been like any girlfriend or anything. It's been you. He's always talked about you. He loves you. And I'm willing to admit that I envy that. Because I think everyone in this room should know when somebody loves someone truly and unconditionally, it's them. I said I wasn't going to cry during this. I can't believe I'm crying. Yeah! Because Jason, I mean, you're not only my older brother, you're my rock, you're my best friend. I call you all the time, outside and inside of work. I mean, there's really not much more I can say other than I'm so proud of you and Megan to be starting your life together. These guys not only have planned a wedding, well, not only has Megan planned a wedding, but Megan has also built a house. And that is something that is very, very right. That is something that's like, who does that? The wedding is stressful. Building a house is stressful. Doing it together? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what are you doing? But you know what? They did it together, and somehow they survived today. And they made it down the aisle. They're here. I'm speaking. Like, it's been a big testament to them. And I can't wait to watch the life that you guys are building to grow together. I can't wait to be there every step of the way. And I really can't wait to see your love flourish. Because if this is where it's starting now, I can only imagine when things open up. So, before I take my seat, I really want to recognize some very special people in the room. I know this has gone a lot longer than I planned to also, I'm sorry. But I want to recognize our parents we have here. Dolly and Bill are at this table right here. Please give a wave. parents here, grandparents here. It's one of those things that's very, very special to have. And one person that couldn't be here tonight that I want to give a shout out to is to the pins that myself, my brother, and my cousin are wearing that had a very big impact on our life, and Anna's life, was my papa. And he was really the rock of our family. And losing him, although he couldn't be here tonight, he's still here in spirit. And everything that Jason, his hard work, his dedication, his everything, he stems from him, and Anna from you also. I mean, it takes a whole village to raise people, and truly, losing someone like that is massive to our lives. And after that, Schaefer family, I don't know if you guys know what you're getting yourselves into. Clearly, we're crying, you know, whoa, this So, usually you don't know now. It's like, whoa, you guys laughing, he's crying, he's just all over the place. I'm just throwing drinks at people, I'm acting, so I would like another glass of champagne. So that's it. But, that being said, I welcome you guys to the family. I really hope that the three families can become one. And with that being said, Jason and Megan, thank you so much for putting this all together. And if everyone would raise their glass, I'll take Chad's because he's not paid. I could not be more proud to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Banfield.
How about that toast? Ladies and gentlemen. And next, the lovely